Hey, I'm Jusko from ProbMoney.com. Is Chase going to start issuing credit cards to people with no credit history? It looks like the answer is yes, and we'll talk about how that is all going to happen. But first, I'm going to ask you to please subscribe to this YouTube channel if you have not already. And if you have already, I thank you for doing so. So an article in the Wall Street Journal today talking about a program in which Chase and a bunch of other banks would actually share bank account data with each other in order to try to approve more new credit customers for their credit cards. Now, this is going to be a pilot program, which means basically it is a test to see if it is workable. But what is interesting to me, at least, is that Chase looks like it is going to be the one to go first as early as this fall. And normally we tend to think of Chase as being the card company that is not as friendly to people that are new to credit, usually likes to see some credit history before they will approve you for their cards. So it's interesting that they are going to be the trailblazer here. So the backstory here is that last year the U.S. government's Office of the Comptroller of the Currency reached out to the major credit card issuers about something called Project Reach, which essentially has the goal of making credit more accessible to people that don't have a credit history and maybe have been traditionally shut out of credit using payday lenders or maybe being preyed upon a bit by subprime lenders, whatever the case might be. Oftentimes this was people of color that maybe didn't have a tradition of using credit within their families. Maybe they didn't have people that they could be an authorized user with because credit was not something that was used. So anyway, the goal was to make credit more accessible to people that have no credit history. So according to the article, 10 banks signed up for this pilot program. Chase, Wells Fargo, and US Bank are mentioned by name in the article. Obviously, there are 7 others as well. And the way it would work is when these credit card lenders are looking at someone for a potential credit card, they would look at bank account information, not just a credit history, because the person doesn't have a credit history, but not only would they look potentially at bank account information that that person has with that bank, but they could look at bank account information from another bank. So if you applied with Chase could look at your bank account with Wells Fargo to see how much money you had in there, whether you have overdrawn in the past, all that sort of stuff. Are you doing well with that bank account? And then they could use that information in making a decision on your credit application. So it's pretty interesting. You have competitors here who basically are saying, yes, you can go in and look at the bank account that we have with this person that you are considering giving a credit card to. So Chase could look at Wells Fargo could look at Chase, and obviously the other banks as well. So the way this would work in terms of the mechanics is when you go and fill out a credit card application, there would be some new fine print on that credit card application. And basically what that fine print would say is, hey, we're going to check your credit score, check your credit history. If you don't have any credit history, we're going to take a look around and see if you have a bank account with any of these other banks potentially, and we would look at that in helping us make a decision. So it's not like you're opting in or opting out as a potential cardholder. Basically, you are opting in by actually putting the application forward, whether that's online or sending in an application. You are agreeing to those terms and you are saying, fine, you can look at my bank account as well if I don't have a credit history. Now, there are some other credit cards on the market that already do something similar. Things like the Pedal card, the Jasper MasterCard are made for people without credit histories. If you don't have a credit history, they will look at your bank account information to see if it looks like you have been responsible with those bank accounts. Now, some people don't feel comfortable with those kind of companies because the way it works in terms of the mechanics is you actually have to give your login credentials for your bank account. Now, there is a third-party company in the middle. That's usually Plaid, so you're giving your login credentials to Plaid or whatever third-party company that is in the middle there, but you're allowing the credit card issuer to see what's in your bank account. So that doesn't always make people feel completely comfortable. The difference with Chase or with these other ones within this sort of pilot program would be that, first off, you're giving them the ability to look at your bank accounts just by putting the application through, but it looks like there would be a different mechanism. You're not giving them the login login credentials to actually, go online and look at your account. They would be doing it sort of behind the scenes. It sounds like the credit bureaus to some extent maybe could be part of how that is facilitated as well. And maybe that will make some people feel more comfortable. Well, not the credit bureau part, but the fact that maybe Chase is talking to Wells Fargo, or Wells Fargo is talking to Chase or US Bank or whoever, and they are sort of doing that behind the scenes versus you just sort of giving out your login credentials and being a little unsure of who's seeing what. A couple other things in the article that I also found interesting. Number one is that if this pilot goes well, it sounds like some of these credit card issuers might try to push even further, and then things like your rental payments, your utility payments, maybe those could also become part of the decision-making process. If you're someone that has ever felt frustrated by the fact that your good rental payment history or your good utility payment history is not part of your credit score and it doesn't help you in order to get credit, well, then maybe we are going down the road where more of the major issuers are going to start incorporating that, but it still seems a little vague as to how far that would be or what the mechanism is to really make that happen. And then the second point, which I found particularly interesting, is back in 2018, FICO, Fair Isaac, the originator of the credit scoring models, they came up with basically this same idea to try to do this on a wide scale to allow people to give access to their bank accounts to help their FICO credit score and to help lenders see sort of a better, bigger picture of who they were. And that was going to be an opt-in thing where people could opt in to have their bank account information sort of linked to their FICO credit score. It was called Ultra FICO, and FICO kind of made a big deal about it at the time and thought it was going to be this sort of new great thing. And according to the article, basically no one was interested. Hardly any lenders signed up. None of the major credit card lenders at all signed up to have Ultra FICO be part of their decision-making process. So that's pretty interesting to me. FICO obviously is sort of the big dog in credit scoring, and at that point they couldn't even really get the banks interested. So I don't know if a little push from the federal government has made the banks a little more interested, the credit card lenders a little more interested in doing this sort of thing. And I don't know if Ultra FICO somehow will eventually play into this, but it sounds like that was just a big dud until now. So we'll see what happens. This is only a pilot program starting hopefully in the fall with Chase and then others to follow, but we don't really know what their commitment is to it, and they have the option to jump ship and just say, it's not really working very well if they want to. So there's nothing really tying them to do this. So we don't really know if there's going to be a real concerted effort here or if they're just kind of blowing smoke up the government's butt so that they can get them off their back and make it look like they've been doing something. One thing I'm interested in seeing from Chase in particular is, assuming they do start approving more people that don't have a credit history, are they approving them for the Chase Freedom Flex, the Chase Freedom Unlimited, or are they developing a new card that is specific to people with no credit, something a little more stripped down, something along the lines of the Chase Student Card maybe, that is a 1% cashback card and has a pretty nominal bonus attached to it. Maybe they take that card and essentially rebrand it as something, Chase Freedom Newbie or something along those lines for people that don't have a credit history. So that will be interesting to see whether it's the existing card lineup that they have access to or whether Chase develops some sort of in-between card for them. So that is it. The news is vague, obviously, but it does look like there is the chance that if you are new to credit, getting in with Chase at the beginning of your credit journey might be getting a little bit easier than it was in the past, or with US Bank or Wells Fargo or one of the other 7 unnamed banks that are part of this consortium. Now, if you have a bad credit history, it doesn't look like or doesn't sound like this is really going to do anything for you. If you already have a credit history and there have been some problems in your past, it doesn't look like there's any mechanism to tie your bank account in and maybe, give your score a little boost with these banks. But maybe that is coming as well. So questions, comments, put those in that comment section below. Otherwise, I thank you for watching. And as always, please go to proudmoney.com where we do credit card reviews and we talk personal finance and we talk deals and all sorts of other fun stuff too. Thanks for watching. Bye.